let's start on our backs, but on your folded blanket. So you've got your blanket in the fold that, well, okay. From here, just fold it in half, kind of long ways. And then when you lie down, see that the nice smooth end of your blanket is toward the center of your mat, where you're going to have your low back make contact with that nice smooth end. And then just lie over this blanket. And I'm lying down and noticing, this isn't the most comfortable spot. So I'm going to move it a little closer. For my body, like 2 inches from my tailbone is the sweet spot, but then my head is like hanging in space. So sometimes I need a second blanket under my head or a block. So just really take a moment to set yourself up in a way that feels really supportive and beneficial for your system. I would invite you to keep the knees bent for now, but it's totally fine if something else is calling you, is better for you. I'm just gonna check on how we're doing. And just land here in this moment, in this space. I'll offer this and see if you like it. And then if not, we can take it away. Better? From here, are you comfortable here? Do you want to try a blanket instead of a block?
Oh, this is fine.
This is fine. Okay. From here, just really come to land, letting go of the day and feeling the feet planted on the earth, feeling your energetic roots growing into the earth from bottoms of the feet. And make some sound as you find each exhale, allowing any tension, anything that's out of alignment to just gently and softly flow out of the body. Maybe imagining that flow down through the feet. And then also imagine as you inhale, receiving the breath, energy from the earth into your body. Acknowledging an exchange that happens between you and this amazing planet. See if you can relax, unhinge your jaw. And if there's any wiggling you need to do, any little stretch through the arms or the shoulders or the back, maybe spreading your toes apart just for a moment, that allows you to really land here. Feel the heaviness of the body, the weight of your physical form. Allow yourself to become heavier. And feel your connection to the planet. And acknowledging that all you need to do here is connect and let go. And I'll come through with the Schumann resonance forks, placing them on the body. You can just Continue to breathe, using the breath to move energy through if that feels right. Or allowing the breath to soothe your system, slow you down, allow you to come to a landing place. From this landing place, see if you can connect with an intention for your practice today, tonight. It can be something you're working on cultivating. It can be something you're letting go of. It can be anything you choose, anything that really comes to the surface, rises to the surface in this moment. You can take the next few breaths with the hands at the heart, connecting with your wisdom center, that heart center in the body, and feeling yourself. Inhaling to bring that intention into the body, into every cell. Exhale, bow your head towards your heart, just gently here, without necessarily lifting your head, to seal your intention inside. Trusting that this gesture will carry your intention through your practice today. Ooh. Struck the forks a little bit loudly there. And then allow your arms to rest wherever is most supportive for your body. It could be on your pelvis, it could be on the floor in a T, hands by the sides, wherever your body is needing or inviting the most rest. Position for your hands. And then feeling the place where your pelvis is in contact with the floor. Feel if one side of your pelvis feels more rooted than the other. And yeah, wiggle around to find perhaps a position of even greater balance. That allows you the ability to sink even more deeply into the restfulness of the position you're in. One of my yoga teachers used to start every class this way, and he would mention allowing the soul, the spirit, the energetic aspect of you to catch up with the physical body, because we move so quickly through our days. There's a chance to just let all the parts of ourselves to come into the present moment. So you can imagine or perhaps visualize just the parts of you that might have gotten left, I don't know, at the grocery store, with family, work, and just inviting all those parts of yourself back into this physical body, into this precious present moment with your breath. Even doing this practice for 5 minutes at the end of your day is a really beautiful way to just come back to yourself. And I invite you here, without moving your feet, like without spreading them apart any further, see if you can simply plant the big toes and then spread the rest of the toes away from the big toes so that you have some space between the toes here. And I invite you just gently explore this, keeping those nice wide and planted toes, keeping them where they are. See what it's like to simply lower the knees to one side, inhaling the knees up through center and then lowering them again to the other side. Notice where you feel this in your pelvis. Maybe you're feeling some sensation in the knees, perhaps noticing the ankles and the feet. So you're not moving in a really profound way because the feet are staying in contact with the floor. The toes are spread apart. And depending on how far you wish to explore here, sometimes this can turn into a little bit of an interesting, unusual, perhaps stretch or sensation in the feet, in the ankles, in the muscles that go up the lower legs to the knees. Perhaps you're feeling this in the back, honoring that rootedness, that plantedness of the feet into the floor, and exploring as deeply or as gently as you wish here. Yeah, it's like, whoa, feet. There's a lot going on here. Sometimes you'll feel the need to have a deeper, fuller breath to help facilitate a release. Beautiful. Honoring, playing kind of here within this parameter of keeping the feet planted, but moving what needs to be moved through your breathing, through sound, through breath. Returning to center. And this time, stepping the feet together so that the feet are touching, the arches of the feet touch. And see if you can press the great toes into each other. It's not a very common action that we explore in our feet, but can you, okay, sorry, it was a terrible cue. So, so the knees are still bent and the feet are still on the floor here. Yeah, and so the inner arches of the feet are touching. So the big toes are touching and the heels are touching, but your feet are right next to each other. There we go. Yeah, and then what happens from this position if you press the big toes into each other? Can you do that without lifting the arches or without moving the other aspects of the feet that are trying to help so desperately? You find a way to allow the big toes to press into one another. Big breath. Let this exhale be the strongest pressure into the toes. And now relax the feet, relax the toes. Draw the right knee into the chest. You can clasp behind the thigh or at the shin and extend the left leg straight out onto the floor. Avana Muktasana, wind reliever pose. Wiggle the toes. Move your ankles. See if you can flatten your back into the support of your blanket a little bit more deeply. Roll your ankles in circles. Spread your toes apart. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, feel as though you're breathing out through the soles of your feet. Maybe one more time. Returning both feet to the floor. And just observing the difference between the right and left sides. And explore this next. Bring the inner edges of the feet to touch like we did the first time. And keep the toes stamped onto the floor and keep the ball mounds of your feet pressing into the floor. And lift your heels like you're wearing high heels. Barbie feet. Right? And you might find that scooting your feet closer to your body helps you to find this action. So lifting the heels up and off of the floor, spreading your toes apart, but keeping them in contact with the floor. And big breath here. Ah. Lower the feet. If you walk them in, walk them back out just a little. Draw the left knee into the chest, clasp the shin or the thigh, and extend the right side out. And then flex strongly, all 10 toes up toward your face, pressing out sharply through the heels. So really elongating the backs of the legs, the calves, the hamstrings on the right side and the calves on the left. And then point the toes strongly and elongate the fronts of the legs. Ooh. And flex and point a few more times. What if you flex and point with the toes curled into like what would be the equivalent of a fist? Flex them up, but with clenched toes. Flex them down with clenched toes. Fan the toes apart, flexing them up. Fan the toes apart, pointing them down. And then do whatever feels like it wants to happen in the feet. For me, it's like, ooh, I gotta shake that out a little bit. And then bring both knees into the chest and see if you can just press your thumbs into the arches of your feet. So clasp your feet with your hands and press your thumbs. You can let the knees come out to the sides if that makes it more accessible. And give your arches of your feet just a little bit of a massage with your thumbs. And then bring the hands to the ankles and roll the ankles while you're just giving yourself a little squeeze at the level of the ankles. And then extend the legs up toward the ceiling and just hold behind the knees. They can be bent as much as you like. Hips can be bent, knees can be bent, and massage the backs of your knee joints. You do have some lymphatic vessels there that sometimes get a little bit congested. So just give yourself a little lymphatic massage here at the backs of the knees. Place the feet onto the floor and give yourself a little lymphatic massage in the hip creases. Your major collecting ducts for the lower legs live here, right in your groins, your hip creases. Give yourself a gentle massage in that V, just to activate and basically empty out your collecting ducts so that they have room to receive fluid from the lower body. Then I invite you to extend your right leg up toward the ceiling, and you don't have to have the knee straight by any means, but start at the foot and pull the tissue of the foot up all the way towards your knee and then towards your hip. Okay, so I'm showing that, I'm demonstrating it if you need to see what we're doing here. This is another lymphatic technique. So we're just gently kind of like cupping the foot in both hands, and then the lower leg, and then the knee, and then the thigh, all the way to those collecting ducts that we just activated by massaging the groins. And we'll do this about 10 or so times, or as many times as you want, helping to facilitate the blood flow and the lymphatic flow in a direction it doesn't normally get support with when you're standing in gravity. And then we'll switch sides whenever you feel complete. Returning the right leg to the floor, lifting the left, starting at the foot. Dragging or pulling the hands along the tissues of the leg from the foot toward the knee, and all the way up to the groin or the hip. Always starting with the foot if you can. Your breath also pumps the lymphatic fluid, so feel free to breathe really big here if you'd like. Couple more, as many more as you need to feel balanced on this side compared to the other. You might feel like one side needs a little more support than the other, so linger if you'd like. When you're done, we'll meet back with the feet on the floor. Let the arms go out into a T. Let the knees come together and just rest on one another. Walk the shoulders away from the ears for a moment here and just observe the effects on the body. Allow yourself to rest deeply and receive here. My body feels about ready to be off of this blanket. And so if you're feeling that same way, you can roll to one side and move the blanket to the side and come back onto the back body. And then extend your legs all the way out so that you're in a mini Shavasana, brief Shavasana, just laying the body flat on the floor. Just noticing how you land on the earth here. Come around to ensure that you have a yoga belt in a block close by, in arm's reach. And if you're ready for Shavasana for the rest of the class, you're absolutely welcome to do that. And if you're ready for a little more movement, find your yoga belt. And bring both feet to the floor. Extend your right leg to the sky and lasso the bottom of that right foot into your belt. Above the arch, below the toes, on the ball mounds of the foot. And spread the toes wide apart. And see if you can firm the front of the leg. Press out through the heel. And then notice the position of your hips, your pelvis. A lot of the time when we catch this right leg up into the strap, the right hip creeps up toward the armpit. So see if you can elongate the right side body so the pelvis is balanced right to left. From here, inhale, very active, strong through the leg. Exhale, extend the left leg out onto the floor, pressing out through both heels equally, active thighs, fronts of the thighs, quadriceps. Feel your glutes, your buns engaged here. Spread the toes apart, flex the heels or flex the ankles so that your toes are moving closer toward your body. And see if you can soften your face and soften your jaw. And feel the strength, the power of this simple but profound posture coming from the core of you, the legs. Let the shoulders and the neck relax and use just enough grip in the hands that you're not sliding through the belt, but you're not over gripping the belt. A couple more breaths here. You re-engage the fronts of the thighs. And maybe after being here for a few breaths, you can walk the hands up the belt just a ways and come perhaps just a bit more deeply into this pose. Knee is straight, quads engaged. Big breath in, big breath out. On your next in-breath, bring your left foot all the way up into the belt so that your feet are side by side, pressing into the strap. Yeah. See if you can allow your heels, your ankles, to stack right over the hips. So not too close towards your face, not so far away, but stacked directly on top of the hips. Pressing out through the heels, engaging the quads. And then from here, remove the right leg and slow motion, pressing out through the heel, lower this right leg onto the floor. Check in with the left side body. See that it didn't creep up. Your hip didn't creep up toward your armpit. Elongate both side bodies equally. Feel the glute muscles supporting you. Pressing out through both heels, spreading the toes wide apart. Maybe you're remarking at how much work this simple posture can feel like. How much work can you let go of out of the shoulders and the neck and the jaw? Can you find your power in the core and in the legs? Bringing your awareness into the lower aspects of the body. Any tension just gets to let go as you exhale. But finding a little bit of activation in these legs, in this core. Maybe walking the hands up on the strap, just any tiny amount. And then allowing the shoulders to release toward the floor to deepen your experience, if that's what you're after tonight. One more deep, full in-breath here. As you exhale, send the right leg up into the belt. And then we're going to hold on to the belt as we bend the knees to the outside. So the knees go outside of the arms, the bottoms of the feet come together, and you're going to pull the belt toward your body. You're in a Baddha Konasana, holding on to the belt, a bound angle pose. You might choke up on your belt a little bit so that your hands are a little closer to your feet. And then slowly lower the feet to the floor, hanging onto the belt, allowing your back to arch off of the floor just a bit here. And just enjoy the sensation here. Should be pleasant. If it's not, make any adjustments you might need. Just 3 breaths here. Allow your breath to come into the low belly, into the pelvis. Feel a sense of expansion as you inhale and then exhale. Letting it go. See what it's like to lift the chest, draw the shoulders down toward the hips, and then lower. See about arching the back a little bit more in that way, if that's nice for your body. And then to come out, we're going to send the feet right back up toward the sky in the strap. You might allow the strap to slide through your hands, extend, and then slowly release the strap. Bend the knees, hug yourself into an Apanasana. Exhale the chin or the forehead to the knees. Inhale, lower the head to the floor. Let the elbows straighten, but keep holding on to your shins or your knees. Exhale, lift the head to the knees, bring the knees to the head. Inhale, lower back down. One more time. Inhale to lower. And then come all the way flat onto the earth. Connect with the floor. Let the legs go. Let the arms go. Make any little micro adjustments and then just totally melt here. Ah. 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 Checking in with stillness. Your block is close by, so find it and slowly bend the knees again, feet to the floor. Inhale here, and as you exhale, float the hips away from the floor, lifting the pelvis and placing your block under the sacrum, so a little lower than the low back. You can use the lowest or the medium height on the block for what we're going to do next. And maybe this is just where you want to be. You're good to just stay here and rest and enjoy. If you'd like a little more, see what it's like to just extend the right leg straight out onto the floor. And if this is not something that your low back is happy with, then definitely draw your left knee into your chest and hold on to the left shin or the thigh. I'm finding that when I do that, I actually feel a gentleness on my low back and a little bit of an increase in a psoas stretch across the front of my right thigh. So it might be something to explore. You're also welcome to keep that left leg on the floor if that feels more appropriate for your body tonight. See if you can breathe into the space of the front of the right hip. Send your inhale and consciousness, awareness into that space. And as you exhale, feel any tension, any gripping just melting off or out. Exhale. A couple more like that. I'm finding that my jaw feels very connected to the psoas in this moment. So relaxing the jaw. Sometimes shaking the head side to side helps to facilitate release. Returning when you're ready, when it's time, the left foot to the floor and sliding the right heel along the mat to return the right foot to the floor. Perhaps if you feel imbalanced here, lift the pelvis up off of the block and then reset it back down from the bridge pose. And when you're ready, slowly extend the left leg all the way out, stretched. Maybe a breath or two here. Maybe collecting the right leg, knee to chest, clasping the thigh or the shin, breathing here. Soften the jaw, continue with your nice deep breathing. Perhaps exploring, imagining, envisioning, inflating your left psoas, the front of the pelvis there, and softening any gripping or tension on the exhale. Stay as long as you like. And when you're ready, return the right foot to the floor with the knee bent. And slide the left leg back so that your feet are equally planted on the earth. Take a breath here. Notice your pelvis, your low back, legs. When you're ready to, exhale to lift your pelvis off of the block, remove it to the side, and slowly, slowly lower your body to the earth. And sometimes knees side to side feels neutralizing, or knees into chest. So really tune in with what kind of movement or stillness would help you feel balanced in your body here. I'm personally finding that rolling my knees in circles, clasping the shins is really nice. And explore what's right for you. And when you're ready to, well, let's actually go into a mini shavasana again. Just to stretch the legs onto the floor, the arms out to the sides, and just feel what your body is like in this moment. Feel any changes or notice any changes in the pelvis and the legs, your alignment, and the way that your being makes contact with the earth. And then when you're ready to, you can slowly roll to one side, and we'll make our way as slowly as you like to a seated position. Facing this way will make it a little easier. And I would invite you to sit on just a little bit of height. So that same amount of height that we started laying over at the start of the practice was probably sufficient. Let's extend the right leg straight out ahead of the body, pressing out through the heel and spreading the toes. And then bring the left foot so that it's hip wide apart from, yeah, beautiful. Clasping the shin. And just explore, how tall can you grow out of this situation in the pelvis? Can you relax the shoulders as you exhale? Inhale a little taller, even if it's just like imagining growing an inch taller. Exhale, taking the right hand on the left leg. Begin to twist to the left as you exhale, and just go as far as you go, and then inhale to get taller. And exhale from that newfound depth. Explore a little bit more of the twist. Inhale as though someone's pulling a string through the crown of your head, lifting you. Maybe the left hand reaches the ground behind you or a block behind you if you don't quite reach. So working in this way, this twist is not static. We're growing tall through the spine, creating space on the inhale, and the exhale takes us any amount deeper, even if it's just an imagined amount. Being patient with the body, allowing it to unwind into this twist at its own pace, following the breath. The inhale takes you taller. The exhale takes you deeper without strain, but with some effort. Notice as you twist that that left hip likes to scoot back and the right hip is scooting forward. See if from this depth of your twist, you can balance your pelvis by plugging the right hip back into your hip socket. Can you smile and enjoy feeling where the breath goes in the trunk as you inhale fully, and allowing the exhale to give you a little bit more access to depth. If there's a place in the body that feels like the breath doesn't quite go there fully, bring your awareness there and invite some expansion. Sometimes you need to move with sound. And then when it's time, when you're ready, slowly, slowly return on an inhale to face forward. Get really tall and open in the front body. And then exhale, extend this leg out onto the floor. I'm feeling like walking my hands behind me, just kind of finding a little bit of a neutralizing movement in the spine, letting the neck go a little bit. Maybe the legs rotate side to side, right to left, back and forth. Some people like to shake and make a little bit of contact or shake the pelvis a little bit. We'll make our way back up to a nice tall spine in Dandasana, the staff pose with the Toes flexed back toward the body. About, let's do hips wide apart with the feet. Nice tall spine. Get as tall as you can. On your exhale, now bending the right knee. Right foot is planted on the earth. Left hand grasps the shin. The right hand can too here. Inhale, get 3 inches taller through the crown of your head. Beautiful. On your next exhale, there's no rush, so you know how long we're going to be in this pose. Exhale to twist toward the right this time. There's a cue that's sometimes nice. You can take that right hand and just like pull the flesh of the belly across the thigh and give yourself a little more space there. And each inhale can grow you taller. And each exhale can invite the twist a little bit deeper. And see if you can keep that alignment in the pelvis, plugging the left hip back into the hip socket. And see how much you can let the shoulders be uninvolved in the twist. See if the twist can come more from the core of your being, from the core of your musculature, from the firmness of the extended left leg. Keep the quad engaged, pressing out through your heel, toes are spread. Let the inhale bring your awareness into all the spaces that are filling with your breath. Let the exhale soften you into a depth of your twist on this side. You might notice that this side feels totally different than the first. I'm certainly noticing that my spine has much more range on this side than the first. Yours might be different, just observing. Perhaps looking forward with your gaze without exiting the twist. And then looking back again over that right shoulder for a little more depth. Tall on the inhale, deeper on the exhale. One or two more breaths here, or 10 more if you need them. You can stay as long as you like. And when you're ready to emerge from this posture, let the inhale gently unwind your spine. Let the exhale extend the leg. And then again, the hands can come behind you. My body's wanting to walk off of the support of the blankets onto the mat, and perhaps side to side with the knees. Do whatever feels neutralizing for you here. And so you might want stillness. You might want to move in a different way. You might want to do that thing we did at the, the first slide where you're making some contact, the calves with the floor. Do what feels most supportive here. Coming back to center when you're ready to, and just stepping your feet on the floor. Really feeling the physicality of that connection with the floor. There might be a little intensity. And then softening, 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 softening. Sitting back onto your support. bringing the bottoms of the feet in toward your body. Thumbs on the arches, pressing in to the arches. Rock side to side if that's available to you. Roll the shoulders back and down and draw your heart forward and up. Shine your heart. This is a seated bound angle. Big breath in. As you exhale, curl your chin towards your chest and round your spine here. Pause to inhale, and exhale, continue rounding forward whatever amount feels appropriate for your body. And perhaps massaging the arches with your thumbs. Slowly inhale to return up with a tall spine. And exhale, extending the legs out in front of the body. Once more. Flex and point the ankles, the toes a few times. We'll do another variation of the twist. So let's see, how do we want to do this? Let's bend both knees. Take the right foot in toward the body. And then you can bring the left foot in close to you, or if it feels accessible and nice and healthy and helpful, maybe stepping the foot across here. So just see what that's like. This is an option, finding the twist here, or if your body is like feeling really juicy tonight, you might step the foot across. So whichever feels most appropriate for you, I'm going to go with this version. And we'll do that same thing where we inhale really tall through the crown. Exhale, twist toward the left. Inhale, height. Exhale, depth. Inhale as tall as you go. Exhale, maybe you're able to move the right arm so that you're holding the shin and the crook of your elbow, maybe not. Noticing if this feels different than the first time we twisted. And then here's the big challenge. You don't have to try it if you don't want to, but if you'd like, inhale and extend the arms and just hold yourself in that depth of the twist. Oh, and exhale, twist a little bit more deeply, returning the arms to the floor and the leg. Inhale, unwind. Ooh. Exhale, return the hands to the floor, step the feet out a ways, and we'll switch sides. So the left leg comes in, and depending on where you're at, you might want to try stepping over on this side. You might want to stay where we were. Maybe this side has more mobility, like here, than the other side did. And explore again. Nice tall spine as you inhale. Nice depth of your twist as you exhale, and take a few breaths to get into your fullness of this twist. And when you feel like you're in your depth, taking your time to get there, what is it like to float the arms and stay in your depth? Yeehaw! Feel everything waking up in the body. And then exhale, maybe use the arms again to go a little bit more. Inhale, unwind. And exhale, find any movement that feels neutralizing for you. So for my body, I'm kind of either wanting to be on hands and knees or like into like a reverse table, but just really let yourself here. Use the next 10 or so breaths to explore any movement that your body still needs from our practice before we move into what it will be our final relaxation, final posture for the evening, for the practice. Use your breath, use your internal knowing what still needs to move before we find our way into stillness. And when you're feeling complete, I invite you to use a bolster under your legs, and I'll actually come around and I'll place a second bolster to float your feet so that your legs will be higher than your heart. You might wish to use a folded blanket under your head as a pillow, and whatever other comforts you desire for final relaxation into Shavasana posture, the supported Shavasana that you'll move into. I'll bring around blankets to cover you with so that you stay warm. I'll offer this and see if you like it. How is that? Really taking these moments to fully give yourself this opportunity to be held by your supports, be nourished, be cared for by your internal knowing exactly what it is you need. Your physical body, any other micro movement, position change, extra warmth. And you completely relax, any gripping or holding from your jaw. You soften your awareness from the front part of the brain to the back part of the brain. You take care of any last little adjustment for comfort or moving into stillness. Ah. You allow the eyes to sink or the backs of their sockets. And soften your throat. Release the jaw. Feel the heart free to soften and open. Feel the lungs feeling into the innate intelligence of your breath, allowing rather than directing. Ungripping any holding in the belly, in the pelvis. Becoming heavy and fully supported in the thighs and the legs and the calves, the feet. Receive the support of the bolsters of the earth. with gentle, soft presence, begin to invite your awareness back in to the physical body. Invite a deeper, slower breath. As you draw yourself back inside. Bring some movement, subtle, gentle at first, into your fingers and your toes. Another full breath invitation as you move your ankles, your wrists, inviting a sound if it comes. Ah, ah. When you are ready to, with as little muscular effort as is needed, step one foot at a time to your bolster or the floor. And pause there for a moment. Maybe moving the spine, the pelvis. Perhaps drawing knees into chest for a squeeze or a back massage by rolling the knees in circles or rocking them side to side. Keeping the space for this serene quality that you've cultivated. Gently make your way onto one side and cradle your body there. Hold yourself in a curled up position, breathing into the heart space, the front, the back of the heart, the sides. Receiving the appreciation from your body toward yourself for taking the time to do this practice. When you're ready, going slow, use your arm strength to press yourself into an upright position that's comfortable. Where you can feel a little bit of a lift in your spine, feeling a little bit of an opening in your body, your heart, feeling the energy of this springtime expansion after you've tended to your roots. You might bring the hands to the heart center, thumbs pressing into the sternum, sternum lifting into the thumbs. Recall the intention that you set at the start of our practice. Perhaps you're inviting that intention to guide you through the rest of your evening, or perhaps you're letting it go at this time. Thank you for carving the space into your life to do this practice with me tonight. The highest potential in me bows to honor the highest potential in you. Namaste.